The best thing you can do is trick them. I've been tricking my grandma like the whole time I've been living here. Not really tricking. She knows that I'm cooking her vegan food, but a lot of the time she'll eat it and then she's like, "That's good." I'm like, "Ha, it's vegan."
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
With veganism on the rise, Generation Vegan interviews the up-and-coming hottest vegans. And in this podcast, we teach you the practical side of having a plant-based diet. Today, we are talking to Daria, or also known as Misfit Vegan. She is a sweet, sexy Polish girl who thrives in Miami on a plant-based diet. You're going to fall in love with her. Let's jump right in.
I've been a vegan I'm a baby vegan. It's been about 6 months. Yeah. But it's like, once I started, it just took over like my whole entire life. It was like a huge passion, So that's why it's like so cool how everything is just like, like all the opportunities and stuff are coming my way. And it's like, it just feels so right.
I'm newly vegan too. I've been dairy-free for about a year, just brand new at this vegan thing. And I still haven't even really dipped into the clothes part, the leathers and stuff like that. Like I don't buy any leather anymore, but I still definitely have like belts and stuff that I.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. My friends are like, well, are you going to throw everything out? And I'm like, okay, that's a little extreme, but like as I go, I'm definitely going to be more conscious of, all the stuff I'm going to be.
Yeah, and even if you throw it out, like I feel like that's completely the opposite of what veganism is.
Your story was crazy. The video, like when I first opened your website, I was like, oh my God. And it was like even more of like a confirmation, like the right thing, It was insane. Like I don't get it. Like to me, I don't understand how. Like my friends don't want to hear it still. They're like, I have my best friend who is like, do not tag me in any videos. I'll go with you to vegan places. I love vegan food. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything about it because I love my chicken. I love my beef. I'm like, well, like, I don't get it. Like, that's not the way to be. Like, if you're ignorant, you're just basically, I don't get it. But I mean, yeah, I take him. There's a bunch of new places in Miami that are opening up. Like even last night, we went to I went on a date, but he took me to like a new upscale vegan place. It's like a raw vegan restaurant, and it was beautiful, So it's like it's taking over. A few years ago, this wasn't out here,
You just tell us a little bit about yourself, like. You said you're newly vegan, and like what really drew you to being vegan? Was it like your health? Was it the animals? Was it the environment, or all the above?
So, like I said, I mean, I've been a vegan, like a full vegan for about 6 months. And I was always into health and fitness, like always. And I always was into watching documentaries, reading about like nutrition and diets and everything. And something kept like always drawing me toward like, eating like a lot of vegetables. Like it wasn't always about like getting rid of all meat and being a vegetarian or a vegan, but it was always something like, add a lot of veggies, eat these. These are the superfoods. So I'm like, okay, well, all these foods that are like supposedly, like cures and medicine, like they're all plant-based. So let me then I came upon Netflix and Forks Over Knives, and literally that changed my whole outlook. And I actually my dad had colon cancer. My cousin in Poland, she had breast cancer and she had a mastectomy. So when I watched it, it was something that was like really hit home. And I like wrote to my mom. I called my mom. I talked to my sister. I was like, did you guys know that, you guys, all the meat that we're eating and like all the dairy could be causing all these cancers in our family? And like, it just kind of really hit home. And it wasn't even that I was trying to like change their mind and be like, oh my God, like let's stop eating all this food. I'm like, let me do it on my own and see how my life changes and how I improve and my health improves. And then as that happens, like I can kind of like influence my family. So it didn't happen overnight. After that, I started doing more research, and then I tried one time, and this was like months ago. I tried and failed. I went back to eating dairy and meat, and then something just wasn't like sitting right with me. So I watched it again. Like I literally kept rewatching it, and then I remember I was like, okay, that's it. There was one moment where I'm like, that's it, no more. I threw out everything that I had that was dairy based or meat in my fridge. And then the next day, like, I just woke up and that was it. Like, something in my belief system, I guess, just changed. And I'm sure in the beginning, I've probably, maybe because I didn't know, I probably slipped up like in restaurants where now I know to ask and I know to, always kind of be more conscious of what's even like dressings for a salad, So now I always ask, I'm like, is this dairy based or does this have anything like animal protein in it? But I'm sure I probably slipped up at first. But so it's been about 6 months, and it was mostly the health. But then as I started to like follow all the vegan pages on Instagram and saw all the videos with all the just the horrific things that they do to the animals and the cruelty, like there were points of time where I like literally would cry. And then I watched Veggicated and I literally sat there and cried. I was like, I cannot believe that we do this to animals. And I am a very spiritual person. And I feel like if you're putting a plate of meat on like in front of you that's went through such horrific things, like to get there, you're basically eating that energy. You're eating that like.
Yes, thank you.
No, I'm like, I can't be a part of it. Like I cannot. So that's why. And then actually what's awesome is I went home to Connecticut because my family's in Connecticut. And my dad, who is like, he's so unhealthy. And, he had colon cancer, but he's been cancer-free for about 10 years, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like he's very unhealthy. And I remember he saw me preparing my food and he was like, I should try this rabbit food. And I should try what you're doing. It looks like you're doing something right. I'm like, yes, thank you. I'm like, even if you don't like go right, if you don't do it right away, as long as you keep saying this and like keep looking at, what I'm doing. And if you can model me, then that's all that matters. And my cousin in Poland stopped eating dairy, and I think she doesn't eat red meat. She still eats a little bit of chicken and fish, but she pretty much eliminated most of the like dairy out of her diet and all the red meats because she also heard that it wasn't good for her health and for her recovery. So
for everyone listening or now or in the future, I'm going to be linking Forks Over Knives and Veggicated and really anything that she talks about or I talk about in the description, and it'll all be YouTube based, so you can just click on it and go watch that stuff. But you're right, girl. I started with Hungry for Change.
Oh, I saw that too.
Yeah, and I think that's really eye-opening, but also not so aggressive, because isn't it weird? Like before we were vegan, didn't you see those videos before? And it kind of was like you just like push it away. You're like,
yeah,
bye. I'm not gonna watch it.
You're like everybody else. You just don't want to see it. It's true. It's very hard to get yourself to like sit down and watch it because we're so programmed to ignore that part of what's going on. So yeah.
And honestly, one of the videos that changed my life that I didn't even think about was down feathers and like down blankets and the way that they treat the gooses. So they get these tubes, like long metal tubes, and they shove it down the goose's throat to fatten him up because the goose doesn't want to eat because it's depressed. So it goes down its throat, and then they pull the feathers out from their stomach as they're alive. And they just hold them by the throat and they just pull out their feathers, and that's how we get down jackets. And I have a down blanket that I'm not going to throw away because I spent a good money on it way like 5 years ago, and it would kind of be a waste of the goose's life, to throw it away. But I will never purchase. There's so many other options out there. I've been looking for non-down jackets, and it's just insane. Like imagine being the workers that do that. Like
I can't even imagine. The thing is, some of these videos you watch, it's like they enjoy it. Like it's, to me, I'm just like, I don't know whether you came into it and at first you were like, okay, I'm being cruel to these animals, and then once you did it, it's like it changes you as a person or something, and you start to like, I don't understand, but to me, I can't even it's murder. It's like murdering another person. Like, to me, you're basically, you're a murderer. Like, you go home to your family after just killing like all this innocence. Like, it's I don't know.
Honestly, it's like, how do you slit 100 pigs' throats a day and then go home? Actually, there was this crazy study, and I don't know if it's true or what the actual stats are. I think it was released by PETA. This could all be lies, but they said, the turnover rate is like 100% in 3 weeks. So like, people can't even last longer than 3 weeks, and everyone that does last longer than 3 weeks, so I guess it's not 100%, it's like 90. So the other 10 that last 3 weeks, they don't even make it to a year. And 100% of every single person that makes it past 3 weeks has like some type of domestic violence charge or some type of violent charge. It's like, yeah, no shit, you're killing a ton of animals a day and then trying to act like a regular human being. Like, you're creating psychopaths. I mean,
yeah, I can definitely see that. There's just no way that it doesn't affect you, like, psychologically. You know what I mean? It's just like, I can only see like psychopaths being like wanting to do that. Somebody that's already mentally unstable wanting to like kill a bunch of animals and be okay with it. So if you're going into it kind of like, okay, it's just a job. I mean, yeah, there's no way that you could last as a person, because I can't even look at it. So if I had to be a part of it, there's just no way. Just no way.
There's just no way. I would die. Could you imagine being that person that, is a vegan, but is going in there to film all that stuff for us to see? Like, oh my gosh.
I can't. I remember watching actually Veggicated, and there was one scene where they showed how they were castrating little baby pigs, and I swear to God, that like scarred me so much, because I'm like, how is this person taking like just ripping like taking a little baby pig and just ripping it off and just throwing it, like, what's this person's mind? What's his psyche? Like, what's his head going through when he's doing that? And it's like, I don't know, that somehow like it's ingrained in my head. Like, I see that all the time. So when I think of like pork, or I literally avoid the meat section in any supermarket. Like, I can't even walk by it, because it just makes me like, it like raises so much, it just raises my blood pressure.
So I want to talk about the fact that because I'm sure you're probably going through the same dilemma as me, but when I was a bodybuilder and into fitness and I was training all these clients, I was always telling everyone to carb deplete. I was like, carb deplete, and eat a ton of meat, protein. Mm. Now that I'm a vegan, all I do is eat carbs, and my stomach is flat as it can be. Now, sometimes I overindulge in carbs, and I eat like carbs every meal, and I mean in starches, I mean by like pastas, and I could see how that will make you fat. But honestly, I have been super lean, water, like no water retention.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with just the diet advice, like the switch, or do you still do it? You still do high protein, low carb, but in a vegan way?
So when I first became a vegan, that was the hardest part for me, to transition to eating just plant-based foods and still having like the fitness mentality and like, trying to build muscle and everything. So that was a challenge at first for a month. But then as I did more research, and then I actually signed up for like a website. I believe it's vegetarian bodybuilding, but it's vegetarian and vegan. And they have all these ebooks that you read about the proper nutrition and how to like fuel your muscles and fuel your body and eat correctly. So usually I follow my macros, but I don't follow them to the point of obsession. I just kind of follow it in estimate kind of way. And I do have like a little bit over 200 grams of carbs that I eat a day. And then I do about 109 of protein, and then around 49, I believe, of fat. And so my carbs, I used to eat a lot of like brown rice, a lot. but I've switched that with quinoa. So I've been doing like, I just love it. I love quinoa. Like I love all the different colors, like the tricolor, the red. I just switch it up all the time. So I do brown rice here and there, but I do a lot of starchy vegetables like butternut squash. Like when I roast that, it like melts in my mouth. Like I swear to God, I get so excited. Like all that. And then Brussels sprouts. Like I do a lot of sweet potatoes for days, regular potatoes. So I guess it's like I haven't really I've been still trying to follow like the balance of it, but in a healthier way. Like I try to still avoid, you know, like bread and things like that, but I just like to make my meals and like from whole plants, like, and, you know, from the whole foods. And then I also supplement my protein with like Vega Sport, which I love. I just love using my NutriBullet because I feel like I literally, if you saw my shakes, I pack on so many greens into it. It's literally like I sometimes came and put the cap on. Like it's like spinach, kale, like celery, like even like little broccolis, like everything. And then the Vega Sport makes it taste so good. So I'm like, I feel like I'm getting like so much goodness like going into my, you know, body. Like so I supplement with that sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I also followed a few people on Instagram that do the high carb vegan diet, and they have incredible bodies. So I think it's a matter of like a balance and knowing what food does what for your body and like when is the right time to eat what. So that's where I stand on that.
I was the same way, like before, and I want to know your opinions too. Like, what did you think about vegans before you were a vegan, and the difference between like vegan bodybuilders and regular, that's a bad term, but just other vegans that didn't work out? Because for me, I didn't want to go vegan. I thought vegans were soft, and I realized that vegans are soft, but that's because they don't work out. We also have hard vegans that do work out. We also have soft meat eaters, and we also have hard meat eaters. So it's all about like the energy that you're putting out there, like literally, like, are you running? Are you doing push-ups? So what did you think about vegans before you were vegan when you saw them?
I actually, what's crazy is when I first started when I first like came upon vegans, it was, it's mostly like the hippie vegan, you know, like the vegans that, you know, are very spiritual, like they don't really, like the gym and all that stuff is not really for them. So that, I guess, you know, it's just a lifestyle, and I saw it, like I would like look up to them from like, wow, like you really, like at first I didn't think I could do it. Like when I it's really about like your belief, like just changing your belief system and just not wanting to ever eat animal protein again. So when I used to like look up to them, I'm like, wow, I don't think I could ever do that. But then actually I never even looked at like the vegan bodybuilders until I switched to a vegan diet. Like that's when I started to look into it. It's like Tor Washington and like Badass Vegan and all them. Like I started following all of them. I think vegan fitness model, the lady who's, I think she just won a gold medal, like
the black woman.
She is. I think she has dreads. She's like a hippie. Like she's white, but she has dreads.
I don't know her. I need her on the podcast.
Yeah, I have to show you her. I mean, I'll tell you her Instagram. Hold on. So I think she just literally won vegan body.
Yeah, that's my ultimate goal, is to get like Tori Washington, 300-pound vegan. No,
yeah.
You can look her up. I don't mind. I want to know who she is.
Oh yeah, it's her Instagram is vegan fitness model, like vegan fitness model. And she is amazing. Like her body is insane. So, well, when I started to look into that, and when you look at their, like outside of just even looking at their bodies, like their skin is like glowing. It's like in every picture, it's glowing. Like when they talk about, and actually I've had the same, within probably 2 months, my skin has improved so much and it started to like have a glow to it. And then also I noticed that when I work out and when I sometimes do like Sobe kick, which is kickboxing, and I have so much more energy than I used to. Like I can literally last so much longer, and then without stopping and like taking a breath, and it's really incredible to me. And as a woman, I used to actually have really, really bad menstrual cramps, like to the point where I would take probably like 4 ibuprofens and I would lay there for like an hour and a half and like dying. Like my friends couldn't be around me. When I was living with my best friend, she couldn't be around me. She was like, there's nothing you could do. And I haven't had not a single cramp, literally not a single cramp. And I'm sorry, I don't know, you could call it coincidence, but like, I feel like the diet has like changed that. Like it's just made my body so much more balanced, and I get no more cramps. Like sometimes I'm actually like nervous. I'm like, am I gonna get my period? Because I used to get like crazy cramps like 3 days before, and now I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? You know?
So every girl that's out there, if you feel like you have any type of problem and you feel like you are constantly having to take medicine, which I wasn't because I was super anti-medicine lady, but I know a lot of my girlfriends are like constantly going to the doctor and stuff. No, just go vegan. At least eliminate dairy, because I think dairy is what was really causing a lot of my problems. And
yeah,
now I hear girls talk about their problems. I'm like, no, go dairy free, man.
And it's crazy too, because you know how they have lactose intolerant people, and when I started to see those memes when they're like, no shit, you're lactose intolerant, like the milk is not meant for you, it's meant for a baby calf. And it's like, it's so true, but people like take like all these pills just to be able to drink milk. Like I don't understand. Like it's bad for you. Obviously it's not good for you. And actually I've gotten rid of, actually haven't drank milk in a really long time. I started probably for like the last 2 years, I've been doing like almond milk and like cashew milk and coconut milks, but I still would eat cheese. I mean, pizza was like my thing. Like that was my cheat meal. Oh my God. It's funny though, like now I don't miss it. Like I have these, I forget the name of it. Like for my little cheat meals, I get these vegan, dairy-free pizzas. Oh my God, what are they called? I have one in my fridge.
Diet or day or whatever.
Not Dea. Hold on.
Go get that pizza.
Oh, it's this one. They're Amy's, and they're gluten-free and dairy-free. And this one is actually cheeseless, but they have the ones that are made with like cashew cheese, I believe, and they're to die for. Like if you feel like you're eating a real pizza, and I'm good with that.
Okay, I'm gonna tag. So it's Amy's version of gluten-free, cheese-free.
They're so good, and they come in like little personal size, and they're like really good for you too. So it's not, you don't even feel like you're ruining your diet, you know?
Okay, we can talk about soy. Like, how do you feel about soy? Do you kind of stay away from it, or do you just not care?
So that is actually something that it's so weird, because I've completely changed my outlook on that. So I read this book called The Fast Metabolism Diet by Haley Pomeroy, and she's like a amazing nutritionist. I read her book before I became a vegan, and I did the diet like the non-vegan way. This was a while ago, and she had such a strong like outlook on soy, and she was like, soy is so bad for you, and all this stuff. Avoid soy. Like she has like this diet that she does for 4 weeks, and she like to kind of reset your metabolism, and which is really cool. But then she also has a vegan version. She does have a vegetarian and a vegan version, and she states in there, she says, the one rule that you can break as a vegan is to be able to consume soy products as long as they're non-GMO and organic. And then actually, I watched a video by, Conscious Muscle. He's actually, that's his Instagram, Conscious Muscle, I believe. And sorry, if my Polish accent kicks in at times, that's...
That's perfect. Please let it happen. Conscious. Muscle.
And he had a YouTube video actually about soy, which I watched. And it was so true, and it completely changed, like, any type of negativity that I had towards soy. It completely changed it. And I started to really research it. And there's a lot of articles that actually say that everything in moderation is fine. Just, like soy, as if it's non-GMO and it's organic, soy is one of the most nutritious foods for you that there can be, like tempeh, like edamame, and just soy, period. I don't really do soy milk because I believe it's not really made from the correct type of soy. But yeah, this soy that is mass produced for all the animals that we eat is genetically modified soy. It's bad for you, but also the animals are eating it. So it's like, you're telling us not to eat the soy, but you're feeding the animals all the soy. So not only are the animals fed with the bad soy, they already have their own hormones, and then they're pumped with like synthetic hormones to make them, last longer or preserve them or anything like that. And so like, where is the argument even? Like, there's just no argument. And also I read about the whole estrogen thing with soy, and it's actually a plant, like it's a what do they call it? Phytoestrogen, I believe. So it's not an actual. It's if you're eating it in moderation and you're eating with a lot of greens, and it's easily digestible through your body, and it's really actually much better for you than if you had a steak or if you had fish, even, because I even at one point thought of going pescatarian, but I did some research, and I'm like, and because I watched Cowspiracy and everything, and fish are like the most polluted thing that you can eat. The water that they are in, the things that they're eating, I mean, you're basically eating toxins, like, because those fish are always in that water. All their flesh, everything is absorbing all the toxins. The soy, they get fed like so I am 100% okay with soy, as long as you're not eating, like pounds of it a day, just like with anything,
Right. When I was bodybuilding, I was eating, girl, it's embarrassing to even think about this, but I was going to Chipotle and getting 2 scoops of chicken. I would go on my prep days, and I would go buy like 8 pounds of steak and chicken, and I would go home and cook it. And when I first started it, I was ingesting so much protein. And at the same time, I started selling Herbalife. Everyone goes through their MLM phase, I feel like. So mine was Herbalife, and I was like, okay, let me do this thing. So I was doing the shakes, and I was doing the soy nuts, and they're soy based. So I was doing that. And then I was just crying, girl. I was crying all the time. And I'm a very happy person. So I was like, I went to the doctor to get it checked out. I was like, there's something going on up here. Like, I am just crying all the time. And the doctor said, have you been ingesting any irregular amounts of soy? And because I just started Herbalife, I thought, it's Herbalife. And so I just stopped Herbalife. And sure enough, like, my hormones did go back to regular, but at the same time, I stopped eating all the meat because I had won my show, so I didn't need to ingest so much meat anymore. And now that I look back and think about it, I'm like, that was so easily correlated to the Herbalife that I totally get why people are like, soy is bad for you. It's like, no, soy is not bad for you. The estrogen is bad for you, which isn't even coming from the soy that you're getting when you drink a soy product. It's coming from all the animal products. And it's just so crazy how easily combined, like not combined, but correlated it was for me to just be like, oh, I drank a soy protein shake, so that's why I'm crying so much. No, it's because you're eating 3 dead animals every meal.
Yeah, it's the soy argument. I get the both sides. So, but to me, it's just like, as long as you're eating it in the proper way, and you're not, you're balancing it out with a balanced diet, I feel like it's fine. I feel like your body can absolutely digest organic and non-GMO soy better than meat and dairy, you know? So someone who's eating a shit ton of dairy a day and then talking shit about soy is like, you're making, like, to me, I'm just like, it's just, you can't even argue that. So, I mean, I've been fine the last 6 months. Nothing's happened. I eat soy or soy products, you know, maybe 4 to 5 times a week. Like I have something with like a tofu or tempeh. Sometimes I'll get like the soft tofu and make it in my shakes because it's like really good. And 6 months and I haven't had any issues. So I don't know. I just know how I feel, you know, and it hasn't caused anything, no hormonal imbalances, nothing. And I'm not growing like a third arm or a third leg, you know, like I don't wake up like feeling like I'm sleeping next to a third arm. Like I'm fine. So I think it's fine. And most vegans that are eating correct are perfectly fine. And they eat soy and they eat tempeh and tofu and edamame, and they're fine. Like they're more than fine. So
they're less sick than you are eating.
Exactly. That's the way I see it. I'm just like, if they are okay, I'm gonna be okay, and I've been okay. So yeah.
So when, like for me, I think the most frustrating thing when arguing with people via Facebook or in real life about any of these arguments is that I once was like them. And it's like, I can't, they think that I'm a vegan because I'm this hippie, spiritual loving, animal loving person. And I'm like, no, I loved animals, but could still eat a steak. I could still eat chicken. I could still eat fish, but I loved animals. You don't understand. Like, I didn't want to go vegan. I had to. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I had to go vegan. So what do you find the most frustrating argument? Like, plants have feelings too, or something like that. What do you find the most frustrating argument, and how do you rebuttal that?
So I just had someone actually say that or comment that on one of my pictures. They said, did you know that plants feel pain too? And I'm like, wait, I'm like, okay. They're like, oh, there release some kind of toxin or whatever. And they're just like, how are you even going to compare salad, or spinach to a cow? Like where, there is not even nothing. There's nothing comparable. So I would much rather butcher spinach than touch a cow. You know what I mean? Come on now. That is the stupidest argument.
Girl.
It makes no sense. You're just trying to piss us off. When they say those things, when people comment those things, I feel like they're just trying to piss us off.
Girl, yeah.
These are feelings too. Oh my God. Right. So why not killing both? So now you're killing animals and you're killing plants. So you're a double murderer. You know what I mean? At least we're just killing one. We're just eating plants.
It's so true. And one of my friends that's watching, my girl Anna, she goes, I love her. I'm totally gonna make a shirt that says I'd rather butcher spinach.
Yes. Oh my God, that is an awesome shirt. Let's do it. Yes.
For real, it's like, if you would rather kill a cow than a broccoli, I don't understand you. We can't be friends. I don't get it.
Oh, that argument, it's ignorance. It's ignorance. If you're gonna go so deep to find some kind of a fact about plants that they release some kind of a toxin that makes them feel pain or what, that is something you're basically trying so hard to fight us. Why are you trying to fight this when you know that it's right? I think people try to do that to keep their mindset as is, because they're so scared of change and they're so scared to know what the truth is, that they will literally find anything to fight that, you know. That's what it is. In this day and age, change is extremely scary, and people want to find anything that they can in order to stay in their safe zone, you know. So if you want to go ahead and say that butchering plants is bad, but yeah, seriously, come on, I can't. It's the chef in the kitchen is cutting up, you know, celery or something. Oh my God, Holy shit, there's just a bloodbath. Like, it's so stupid. Though, if someone can actually agree or like admit that they're wrong in the same conversation, that's like more, like people will fight this forever. And it's like, yeah, like what was it? I'm sure you've seen Cowspiracy.
Yes.
And how they talk about like cars and like preserving water in the shower, all this stuff. And then they go into like animal agriculture and the amount of like how many times, it's not even like 10 times more. It's not like, it's literally like they show these graphs and it shows literally, it's right there in front of you and it shows you.
I just watched an interview with the Kip and Kale, the people who made Cowspiracy, and Leonardo DiCaprio actually reached out to them and was like, yo, your shit's amazing. I want to promote this. Like, I want to be a honorary director. Like, and so they got it on Netflix for free. They got it on all stuff for free. And I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And it's what's cool about that is just shows like there's so many aspects like of all these documentaries that are raising awareness, not just to like animal cruelty, but into every aspect like of our lives, like how much this is affecting our lives, period. Like the environment, the cruelty, our health, like every aspect of our lives, this is being affected in. And people, for me, when people are ignorant to it, it makes me like, it almost kind of like makes me a little angry, because it's like, why are you, okay, I understand if you want to eat animals because you believe you need the protein, watch Cowspiracy and see what it does to our environment. If it's not the health or if it's not the cruelty or whatever, like there is other reasons to become a vegan. It's not just, and then as you kind of progress toward it, all those other reasons become, also important. So there's not just one reason to become vegan. Like it literally, that was actually crazy. When I watched Cowspiracy, I wasn't even aware of all that stuff. And then when I watched it, I was like, I'm like, we really are destroying and killing our planet. And when they said that, if you put all the grain and all the food that they're feeding all these animals for us and fed all these malnourished and like all the
dying third world countries.
Nobody would be hungry. And it's like, how are you not seeing that and then there's another argument. Oh, but if we let all these animals live, then they would take over the planet. We're the ones breeding the fucking animals. You're the one that's sticking your arm up a freaking cat. Like, you're the one breeding the fucking animal. So how are you going to argue with me that, oh my God, these animals are going to take over the planet? No shit. You're the one that's causing this. You're the one that's cutting off, like destroying our planet, cutting out all the rainforest for the animals because you need to breed more to feed us. Like, come on. It makes no sense. And it's like, it's really sad actually when they say that our rainforests are going to be destroyed soon. They're just going to be gone. And that's our like life source. It's like, it's our oxygen. It's still keeping this planet alive. And then the oceans might go like fishless and just dead in what, 2048? Like that's what, like that's like 20 years from now. Is it 20? Maybe 30, but let me do my math right. That's insane to me. Like that is so scary. And if that doesn't affect someone and someone wants to be ignorant to those facts, I feel bad for you, because you basically, to me, I'm like, you don't really care about a planet. All you care about is having that piece of meat, or, as long as you get to have that ice cream and you get to eat that pizza with all the cheese on it, like, and nothing else matters.
It's like, what's the point of having a 6-pack if the world is going to be gone?
Exactly. Yes. Like it's so sad. It really, really, it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. I didn't really realize when I first became a vegan how much it was going to affect me as a person. And it's just really, truly like made such an impact on me that like when I speak about it, like I literally get like teary-eyed, you know. It's like, it really is extremely sad how ignorant people are to this stuff. So
well, and it's even scarier because I feel like we are very actualized, like conscious, logical people, and even we did not see it for so long. And it's like, that's scary to me. Like, I'm a very, I get stuff. And the fact that it took me to get sick, to get to the point where I couldn't walk, to finally make that decision is so scary to me.
yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm not questioning it at all, because I'm very into it. I'm very into the environment and having a beautiful world. But I have a lot of favorite quotes. One of my favorite ones is like, you can fool some people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. So I guess my only thing about that is why, when they talk about environments, when they, like, there was a huge, I don't know if you heard about the huge meeting they had over across the seas about the environment, and all these countries came together and they were like, how are we going to stop, greenhouse gases? Only one person brought up animal agriculture. So like, how are, like, maybe, I'm not saying they're lying to us. I just don't want to be so ignorant, again, to the fact that maybe these are just documentaries that I'm being sucked into. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I thought I was right before I was vegan. I think I'm right now as well. But I mean, how can 168 countries come together and be talking about, environmental friendliness, and only one person bring up animal agriculture? Like,
Yeah, that is crazy.
it's so crazy.
I don't know. You know what kind of makes me think twice about, like, so not makes me think twice, actually, just like in Cowspiracy, and how he goes in and tries to interview those people from all these different, foundations, all these different groups, like for, like, what is it?
Greenpeace and stuff.
Yeah, and how they ignore the thing that bothered me is that they don't even want to speak about it. They just ignore it. And then even in those documentaries, you can see how uncomfortable they get when he brings it up, when he speaks about it, and they want to completely, so they're not fighting him on it. They're not like, no, there's data that states that, this is not true, that they're actually like, it's almost like something is silencing them, or like the government it's something bigger than them is basically saying, shut the fuck up. We're making money, and that's all that matters. And that's what got me, because you can really see it on the people's faces, how uncomfortable it makes them, like how it's almost like they want to agree. And there's actually one lady that agrees.
Yeah, she agrees.
Yeah, and she's like, and she really like starts to, she's like, yeah, it is, yeah, that's actually one of the main reasons why our rainforests are dying. And it's like, she actually admits to it. And that's what got me, because just seeing those people so uncomfortable, it makes me so angry, because it's like, you'd rather make billions of dollars off healthcare and animal agriculture and all this stuff, and kill us, basically just kill just humanity and environment for that dollar. What is that dollar going to do to you years from now when we can't even sustain life? Like, that's what's really, really sad. And I think they're coming up with another documentary, right? They're doing,
Yes.
What the hell? I'm so excited for that one.
So this is even scarier, girl, but I was just watching an interview with, there's someone named Live Vegan Vibrantly, and she did this whole online summit, and you got like 20 interviews. She got the top vegans, everyone but Gary Yabowski. She got like doctors and the Cowspiracy people and Forks Over Knives people. She did a good job. And I was watching Kip and Kale. They said that over 1,500 true environmentalists have been murdered, girl. Have been murdered by the meat industry.
Yep. That's well, actually, I didn't even hear that. That's even crazier to me. I remember they showed like a little snippet of it, of someone that was protesting the rainforest, like deforestation, because and she basically got killed, like walking down, the street, like home or something. Like, knowing that, and that's happening, it's like, it's worse than terrorism. Like, it's, how are we even going to argue wars and terrorism when our whole, like, the business and the government is targeting people that are speaking out, like, against this, and for a dollar, just to continue making that money. Like, it's just so sad. And it's actually, when I watched some of their, like, snippets in the YouTube videos, what are their names? I don't even know their names.
I think it's Kip and Kale. I might be saying those wrong though.
No, so when I was watching, like, a little video snippet of when they talked about, like, making What the Health, and they're like, we're just letting you know this is extremely dangerous for us, and because, you know, like, we're being targeted right now, so this, like, documentary doesn't come out. It's terrifying. Like, it's so terrifying. So I guess, not to say that I understand, but I guess I could, like, those people that don't want to really know about it, it is terrifying. When you actually do know the facts, or when you start to educate yourself, it is terrifying. Like, you're basically alert and awake to all this other thing, all this other stuff that you weren't paying attention to before, and it affects you. It really. Speaking of Anthony Robbins, I was just listening to one of his. So I listen to audio tapes, like, in my car all the time, and I have one of his. It's called Giant Steps, and I haven't listened to it in a really long time, and I listened to it yesterday, and there's one point at the end when he talks about making a difference in the world, and I didn't even know that. Actually, know that it's funny. I didn't even know that he was a vegan. Like, I didn't know that he was until I listened to that last part of his audiobook, and he mentioned something. He's like, when you wake up every day, pay attention to what you're eating, and what products you're using, and what you're doing to like, when you're putting what you're putting into your body, what's happening to you know, the animal or whatever. Like, he mentions those things, and I can't even quote it right now exactly, because it just, like, when it was like, whoosh, like, hit me, I didn't even know. So that was like, I started Googling him, like, is Anthony Robbins a vegan? And it's like, yeah, there's, like, all these, you know, interviews with him, like, years ago. I had no idea. He's such a big inspiration to me.
Every time I find out somebody that a lot of people admires is vegan, I post it. I'm like, did you know this guy was vegan? Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool when people, like, find those inspirations. Like, Russell Simmons, like, I mean, I knew he was a vegan, but I started following him, and he's so into, like, the yoga and meditation, and, like, that whole movement too. Like, and I actually got his book. I'm gonna read it. I haven't read it yet.
The Happy Vegan?
Yes, it's on my Kindle. I'm finishing up another book, but that's my next read, and I'm just, like, so excited to read it, because, you know what I mean? It's just, you even look at those people that do switch their lifestyle to that, and you can tell how much happier they are as a person, and, like, how much peaceful their lives are. So you know, you can't even, I mean you can argue all you want. Like, every single part of that movement is making things better. Like, it's making your lives better, it's making other people's lives better, it's making things more peaceful. But people just continuously want to argue that, you know, and it's crazy how, I mean, I understand, I guess we both understand, we've been there, but it's like, once you wake up to it, like, once you just let yourself, like, hear those things and, like, let it sink in, and at least let yourself believe it, like, all those things will start to come in, and, like, it's like a snowball effect. It starts to really transform your whole entire life. And then people just get so scared. Like, I feel like people get so scared of that. They're so fine with where they're at. They don't want any change. And yeah.
Well, it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because I feel like if you're eating meat, if you're still ingesting animal products, it's really hard to watch those videos, because it's basically telling you you're messing up, and no one wants to hear that. But in order to stop eating those things, you have to watch those. It's like a catch-22. So I always suggest people to try to stop eating it on your own without seeing those things, because then when your heart chakra is open, like, when you don't have any more animal products in your body, it's a lot easier to watch the videos. Then when you watch the videos, it's a lot easier not to eat the stuff. And it just is like, okay, here we go, rolling effect.
Yeah. And that's, so that's why I haven't posted many of those things on my like Instagram, like the like horrific images of it, because I feel like we already have so much out there where people can like literally just, people will come up on it regardless these days on like Instagram, whatever. So I try to focus more like in the positive aspects of being vegan. So then people want to do it in a way where, they want to transform their lives in a positive manner. And then, as like you said, as they do that, as they know that it's affecting them in a positive way, then it's like, okay, all that negativity, it starts to be an extra push and like an extra thing. Like, okay, now I'm more of a more compassionate person. Not, I didn't even think of this, but yeah, I'm saving like one animal's life a day, an animal's life a day, and I'm not ingesting this like destroyed and like this meat that's been like went through so much. Like it's like someone murdering a person and serving it to you on a platter, like
yes.
Like people just don't, I guess they don't connect the two because they don't want to. But like you said, if they see the positive aspects of it, and then that's another thing, that's like another benefit that comes in as they start to open up their minds to it, then it's almost like it drives you more than just like if you got, actually I had a friend, so I talk so much.
I love it. Keep going.
I had a friend, I have a friend who is like a huge meathead, and he is always like laughing about my vegan thing. He's like, "Oh, you vegans, all this stuff." And then his girlfriend sent him or tagged him on one of these videos of the slaughterhouse, and I think it's like he was describing it to me. He said it was like a cow, and you can see the fear in the cow's face and the tears, and literally it affected him a lot. And then, but his answer was, well, I mean, I feel like I won't eat a cow or I won't eat meat probably for like a little bit, but like, it wasn't like, it didn't change him completely, because it's not enough. You have to do it for the positive aspects of it. And like, not just because you saw a sad video, you have to find all the reasons why you would go vegan, because that video could affect you for like 5 minutes or a day, and you won't touch anything. But unless you change your core beliefs, you're going to go back to eating meat the next day, because that's what you're programmed to do. So like, fucking awesome. It feels good.
And I hate when people make little jokes about, it is kind of the truth, and it's funny, but it's like, you know how someone's vegan? They tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get it. And so my friend, Anna, she was just on here. She's the one that said she's going to make the shirts. She was not even thinking, girl, she was like, protein. She was dating a fitness instructor, and one day I went up to Austin and I saw her, and she was like, girl, I need to tell you, I have not eaten meat for 3 weeks. And I was like, and then,
wow.
And then I saw her again. As like 3 weeks later, she was like, girl, I have not eaten meat for 6 weeks. And then I saw her again, and she was like, it's been almost, 2 months now. And I went to her house, and she starts spewing everything that we're talking. She's like, did you know how bad they eat the animals? And I'm like, yes, bitch, that's why
I've been trying to tell you.
And she's like, she's going off, and I'm letting her, because it's really awesome to just see her do that. And so, the next step for her is cheese, but and dairy and stuff. But it was really cool to watch her, I wouldn't say blossom, because she's already a really good person, but just to kind of be like, oh my gosh, did you know all of this stuff?
Yeah. Like, you watch the process of awakening. You're just like, you just sit there in the corner. You're like, you're just like so happy, because you know that it just takes one thing, and one thing leads to the next and the next and the next. I have actually, I have one friend that's been a vegetarian for a really, really long time. And her and I have went to, there's a few little are vegan here. And her thing is she's like, it's been years, that I've been a vegetarian. She's like, but I see the complete benefit of what you're doing. And she's like, it's crazy to me that you were able to do it in a month, and it's taken me years. And she's like, she's like, I think I'm going to start to eliminate all that, all the dairy and eggs. And I'm like, I just try it. I'm like, all it takes is just trying it. Because, you know, that's another thing. When you're a vegetarian, it's almost like you're still, you know, one of those people that aren't really truly like awake yet, because you're still so programmed to, but like, I still need some dairy, or I still need some eggs because that's protein. So it still has to be like programmed in your head. Like, no, like you don't need it. You don't need it. Like plants are protein. Like you don't need that.
Everything that we've talked about is so perfect. I do want to ask you 2 more questions that I feel like will help people with the transition and just kind of relate to you more. So when's the last time you messed up? Like, even if that was on purpose, even if you knew, you know, there was like animal products, when's the last time you messed up? What was your mental process with that? And then like, what was your next step to like getting back on track?
I think I went to actually one of these Mediterranean places, and I ordered a vegetarian wrap. And I had no idea that it actually had like a cream-based dressing in it. As I bit into it, and I was like, okay, I either throw this out or I'm super hungry and I'm gonna finish it.
Right.
So I finished it. But you know, but those moments like make me more aware. So like, even though I didn't, you know, I feel like we all mess up. Like there's, you know, like nobody's perfect, and especially when you're new and you're a new vegan, it's okay. Like it's okay to mess up. And I actually even say, I'm like, even if somebody wants to go vegetarian first and then like go into a full vegan after, like that's okay too. Like it's your own process and progress. And like, to me, those moments like of my weakness, or those moments of like of not knowing, like they've made me stronger for like the next time, you know, like. So, you know, they opened the door to like dairy-free ice cream, and which I love. Everyone's human.
Right.
We are all human.
That. So tell everyone where they can find you on social media and support you.
Yes. So my Instagram is @MissFitVegan. So MISSFIT vegan. And then I just opened a Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in forever, so I'm still rusty with it, but I'm trying. It's the same thing, Misfit Vegan. Awesome. And I wanted to say, like, seriously, like, I think what you're doing is amazing. And, like, you have such an awesome energy about you. Like, I was a little nervous to get on the interview, but you have made it such a, like, it's like I feel like I'm talking to a friend, you know? Like, you're amazing at what you're doing. Like, you're amazing, and I think that you're gonna have a huge impact with what you're trying to do. And I'm so happy that you chose me for this. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. Just thank you for taking the time out to do this. And this was our 3rd try, everybody.
Yeah.
We messed up 2 times. I always say 3rd time is a charm.
Yes.
Charm.
And it was the best. So you see, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like this is why. Like it's been 2 damn hours. Oh my God, 2 hours.
2.5 hours, girl. Yes.
Crazy. Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. I don't know how to edit.
Girl, I've been doing this for like 10 episodes. Neither do I. I'm like,
I'm like, hey, goodbyes. Bye.
I'll see you soon, lovers.
Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Wasn't she amazing? Thank you so much for listening to us talk and listening to us connect. We had so much fun. And if you have any questions about becoming vegan or wanting to be on the podcast, please contact me at any social media. Dark Sunshine, DARKSUNSH 9. I cannot wait to meet you.